afternoon. You're welcome back from the Ghana National Association of Teachers Conference, where President John Dramani Mahama was addressing them. You're watching ABC News, and this is ABC Midday. I am Peggy NyarkowaA BANNOR. Coming up in the next hour. The Ayawaso East constituency has bid a final farewell to its Member of Parliament, Nasser Toure Mahama, who was laid to rest today following final prayers and burial rites in Accra. A fire outbreak has ravaged parts of the Kaswa New Market, destroying several metallic and wooden stalls, but no casualties were recorded. Meanwhile, government condemns assault on a journalist as the scene of the fire outbreak. To calm, the Ghana police have arrested 2 women in connection with the alleged assault of a 12-year-old girl at the La Roman Junior High School, caught in a viral video. In business, the Bank of Ghana has introduced a new regulatory framework for the registration and operations of international money transfer operators, a move aimed at strengthening oversight of On the international front, at least 50 people have been killed and several others abducted after armed men attacked a market in Nigeria's Niger state. Stay with us, we have details of these and more coming up shortly. Watching ABC Midday News live on ABC News Ghana Television. We're streaming live on Facebook at ABC News GH_. Now to our stories. A fire outbreak has ravaged parts of the Kaswa New Market, destroying several metallic and wooden stalls and their contents, mainly food items, but no casualties were recorded. The Ghana National Fire Service said personnel from the Kaswa and Weja fire stations were swiftly deployed after the incident was reported. Additional fire tenders and water pumps were also dispatched from Accra to support efforts to contain the blaze and prevent it from spreading to other sections of the busy market. After hours of intensive fighting, the fire was completely extinguished through what the Ghana National Fire Service described as swift and professional intervention. The service noted that thousands of stalls were salvaged, averting what could have been a total loss for traders. Fire tenders from Kaswa and Swedro remain on standby at the market as a precaution against any possible reignition. Meanwhile, investigations are underway to determine the cause of the fire. So trying to establish contacts with the Public Relations Officer for the Ghana National Fire Service, DO2 Desmond Aka, to have further conversations on this. We are only 5 days into 2026 and we recorded this huge and devastating fire outbreak in the market. What could have caused this fire, and what is the Ghana National Fire Service doing in partnership with other stakeholders to ensure that our markets are safe and fire service personnel are able to move freely to provide assistance? So joining us on the line is Public Relations Officer for the Ghana National Fire Service, DO2, Desmond Aka. Good afternoon and welcome to ABC Midday News. Hello, sir. All right, so we'll be bringing you further conversations on this, but the government has also released a statement with regards to a video allegedly showing a journalist being assaulted by the fire tenders at the scene at Kaswa Market, where the fire has ravaged a lot of stores. Away from that, the government of Ghana has strongly condemned what it describes as a unilateral and unauthorized military invasion of Venezuela by the United States, which reportedly resulted in the abduction of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores. In a statement issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on Sunday, January 4, 2026, Ghana said it was alarmed by the development which reportedly occurred in the early hours of Saturday, January 3. Ghana expressed strong opposition to the use of force, stressing that the action violates the United Nations Charter, international law, and the sovereignty, territorial integrity, and political independence of Venezuela. The government said it is closely monitoring the situation and warned that such actions, including attempts at occupying foreign territory and exerting external control over natural resources, pose serious risk to global peace and stability. Ghana also raised concern over comments attributed to U.S. President Donald Trump, suggesting that the United States would run Venezuela during the transition period and allow major U.S. oil companies to operate there. According to Ghana, such statements echo colonial-era practices and set a dangerous precedent in the modern international system. The Foreign Ministry said these actions undermine the global order and threaten the sovereignty of all nations, reaffirming Ghana's commitment to the principle of self-determination. It stressed that only the people of Venezuela have the right to decide their political democratic future. In more news, tensions continues to build within the New Patriotic Party as the presidential primaries draw closer, amid a wave of prophecies predicting different outcomes for the various aspirants. While some religious figures have publicly declared spiritual endorsements for particular contenders, party faithful remain divided in their expectations. Speaking on ABC in the morning, a former Ashanti Regional Communications Director of the NPP, Dennis Kwakwa, expressed firm confidence that former Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia will win the party's flag-bearer race. He argued that beyond spiritual pronouncements, many delegates and supporters remain committed to Dr. Bawumia, believing he offers the best chance for the party unity and electoral success.
If you have a pastor you trust, you look at them and they speak to you, and sometimes you follow their steps. It makes your own life sometimes a bit easy for you. So I won't begrudge anyone who is prophesying. Beyond the prophecies, you are asking how it affects the numbers. You would have one or two delegates or a number of them who will say that based on this prophecy, because of the confidence I have in this prophet, I'm going to follow what he says. And so it will not have a very huge impact on the election results, but at least to some extent, if you are talking about nominal figures, you cannot see that it will not have any effect. It has some level of effect. However small it is, you cannot discount it. But having gone around this country, having listened to delegates, having listened to the NPP story, I believe that 31st January is still for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. If you have a pastor you trust, you look at them and they speak.
Meanwhile, National Executive Committee member of the National Democratic Congress, Nitan Saki, says victory in the New Patriotic Party's presidential primaries does not automatically translate into success in the 2028 general election. He argued that although significant political forces appear to be backing former Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, emerging as the NPP's flag bearer alone would not be enough to secure victory in the next national polls.
But what I know is that there have been a number of prophecies. When it comes to spirituality, I cannot say that I am to that level, so I will not be able to tell whether the prophecy from Mr. A is right or the prophecy from Mr. B is right. But what I can say is that when you look at what is going on, you realize that the forces have been tilted in favor of Dr. Bawumia. So it will be very difficult for any other person to win him. If Dr. Bawumia gets less than 55%, then I think he better throws in the towel for anybody who gets even 40%. As things stand now, the forces are all behind him, and it will be difficult for him to lose. If he loses, then that will be very strange. Just that we need to know that, yes, even if he wins the primaries, the fact still remains that he will not be able to win the main election. But what...
Away from that, the Accra Regional Police Command has arrested 2 women in connection with the alleged assault of a 12-year-old girl at the La Roman Junior High School area, following a complaint lodged by the victim's mother. In a statement issued by the police, the incident was said to have occurred on Tuesday, December 30, 2025. The victim's mother reported the case after appearing at the police station with her daughter, who had visible marks of assault. She alleged that her daughter was attacked by 3 women without provocation. The complaint alleged that 3 women assaulted her daughter, the police said, adding that officers promptly took a statement from the mother and issued a police medical report form to the victim for examination. Preliminary investigations revealed that earlier that day, the 12-year-old girl had an altercation with a 7-year-old boy who is related to the suspects. The police said the situation later escalated when the suspects allegedly went to the victim's house, brought her to their residence, and assaulted her. On Wednesday, December 31, 2025, the complaint led police officers to arrest 2 of the suspects, Precious Giftan Mesofe, aged 22, and Princess Giftan Mesofe, aged 25. Both suspects are currently in custody and assisting with investigations. The third suspect, identified as Priscilla Novishi Wonyo, aged 49, a fashion designer and mother of 2 arrested women, is reported to have traveled to the Volta region. Police say efforts are ongoing to locate and arrest her to aid the investigation. The 2 arrested suspects have been formally charged and are expected to be put before court on Monday, January 5, 2026. Meanwhile, the Accra Regional Police Command has cautioned the police against resorting to violence, especially in disputes involving children. The police urged parents, guardians, and community members to use lawful means to resolve grievances and to report incidents promptly. We'll be bringing you some conversations on this, but away from that, the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission has asked that the management of the University of Ghana should reverse any recent fee increases and or dues for the 2025-2026 academic year immediately. According to GTEC, publicly funded universities cannot review student fees without adhering to proper procedures, including seeking parliamentary approval as mandated by law. Accordingly, the university has also been asked by GTech to credit all continuing students who have overpaid compared to last academic year's fees for the next academic year. Again, the university is also to refund the difference to final year students who have paid in excess of the fees for last academic year and revert all dues, including SRC and GRASAC dues, to the last academic year's rates, and in addition suspend any new fees such as the 75th anniversary dues and development levy if newly introduced, except for those that were already in place. This was contained in a letter dated January 5, 2026, addressed to the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, following last week's information that the university has increased fees. The Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, by this letter, requests the University of Ghana to do the following: reverse any fee increases and or dues immediately, credit all continuing students who have overpaid compared to last academic year's fees for the next academic year, refund the difference to final year students who have paid in excess of the fees for last academic year, revert all dues, including SRC and GRASAC dues, to last academic year's rates, suspend any new fees such as the 75th anniversary dues and development levy if newly introduced, except for those that were already in place. The fees must be set at the last academic year's rate. Let's go back to our earlier story where a fire has ravaged several stalls in Kaswa. Joining us on the line is the Public Relations Officer for the Ghana National Fire Service, DO2 Desmond Aka, to have further conversations on this. Good afternoon and welcome to ABC Midday News.
Good afternoon and thanks for having me.
Now, it's only 5 days into 2026 and we are already recording massive fire outbreak in Kaswa especially. What do you have to say about the effectiveness of awareness being created?
Well, so let me say a very good afternoon to our viewers and listeners as well. The available figures, we are not recording massive incidents, and therefore we want to allay the fears of Ghanaians that the fires are becoming one too many. We have done creditably well, even in 2025. Even though I don't have the full figures, but the ones available to me, we made a significant reduction in terms of the fire trend in this country, and therefore over 30% of these fires were extinguished by members of the Ghanaian populace, and therefore it gives us hope that our public safety campaigns are proving right and they are making the needed impact. And therefore, we would want to encourage Ghanaians to give us listening ears and then implement some of the safety measures that we have been churning out on the various media landscape. And therefore, on the account of yesterday's fire, the call came in late. But be as it may, we responded after receiving the call at 16:50, within 8 minutes, at Kaswa Fire Station. They were there, but because it came in late and then things have already degenerated into or escalated, we had to bring in 7 additional tenders from Accra and Central Region, Greater Accra Region and Central Region, just to augment with firefighting. And thankfully, no casualty was recorded. The only unfortunate thing is that if you demarcate the affected market, let's say, into a whole, just about 15% of the market got ravaged by fire, mainly food items and some cosmetic products. But largely, about 85% of the market was salvaged by able firefighters. But throughout the night, we needed to even station 2 fire appliances just at the affected area to ensure that there is no reignition. Our preliminary findings, we have deduced that the fire started from a 40-meter in one of the shops, and then it degenerated and spread through the other makeshift structures, causing that devastation that we all witnessed yesterday. So we had to stay there overnight through this morning. And some thieves wanted to steal some of the salvage items of the affected portion. So we had to call in the police about 5 or so different occasions, and they had to come in to even accost some of them. And this morning, one of them came with his own group just to cause mayhem. So unfortunately, our men had to discipline him. And one journalist who was also at the scene trying to film was prevented from filming, his phone seized, and then the matter reported to the Kaswa police. And the journalist is alleging that our men assaulted him. But since we have reported the matter to the police, we want the police to help us to unravel the whole factual facts about the whole incident. And then if it turns out that indeed our men assaulted him, then the law should take its course. But if it also turns out that the journalist who is alleging that he was assaulted turns out to be false, then we'll also take him on, because we will not sit down for anybody to take the good work that we have done and to discredit us in such circumstances. Because yesterday, the affected market, there wasn't any single fire hydrant there. We had to shuffle between long distances to bring water to be able to deal with the fire. So the allegation out there, the videos available that we have reviewed, nowhere in those videos depicts that firefighters assaulted a journalist. But it was a thief that came with his tax that was being disciplined by the firefighters, and which we also condemn the assault that was meted out to that thief. And therefore, management has set up an inquiry into that matter, and therefore disciplinary action will be taken against the officers who did that. But let us be factual and stay true to the incident and disregard any form of misrepresentations and inaccurate reportage on the incident, and try to seek relevant information from the official sources of Ghana National Fire Service in order not to cause disaffection between us and the public that we serve. Very well noted. Now, has any arrest been made? Yes, the police has arrested about 15 of these suspected thieves who throughout last night wanted to make our work very difficult. So we want to be able to ensure that these thieves are brought before the law and then need to face the law as such. All right. Now, you mentioned that one issue was that there was no fire hydrant at the scene, and we've also heard that the stalls were closed. Firefighters didn't really have space to pass through to help turn off the fire. This is a challenge that we mostly see in market fire outbreaks. What are you doing with other stakeholders to ensure that the construction of markets are favorable to firefighters? So on this call, we can only urge the assemblies who still have makeshift markets within their jurisdiction to take steps to convert these makeshift markets, which are associated with high congestion, non-segregation of waste, and then non-availability of fire protection equipment, to convert them to modern markets where all these safety lapses will be ensured, such that there will be hydrants, there will be functional hydrant, there will be fire station with a functional tender. There would also be adequate fire protection equipment at the facility, such that if there is any fire, our response time is superb. The fire equipment would also be able to deal with the fire situation, so that we'll be able to prevent some of these catastrophic losses in our various commercial centers.
So how many officers have been recalled or interdicted, as you mentioned, in relation to this incident?
Yes, so it has now come to our attention, and therefore management has constituted an investigative or a committee to look into it. And if it turns out that the officers misconducted themselves, why not? Our internal processes would be enforced to ensure that we bring them to book.
For a time this afternoon, sir.
Most welcome for having me.
Right. That was Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service, DO2 Desmond Aka. Away from that, let's go to the Ayawaso East constituency, where there has been a farewell bid for its Member of Parliament, Nasir Ture Mahama, who was laid to rest today following funeral prayers and burial rites in Accra. Family members, constituents, parliamentary colleagues, party officials and traditional leaders gathered in large numbers to mourn the late lawmaker, whose death came as a shock to many within the constituency and the broader political community. The funeral was marked by solemn prayers, tributes and reflections on his life of public service. Tributes from colleagues in Parliament described Nasir Ture Mahama as a dedicated legislator, a unifier, and a humble servant of the people who remained deeply connected to his constituents. Many recalled his commitment to grassroots engagement, youth empowerment, and advocacy for development in Ayawaso East. Residents of the constituency also shared emotional memories, praising the late MP for his accessibility and willingness to listen to their concerns. Joining us on the line is our reporter Khadija Isifu to give us updates on the happenings. Hello, Khadija. Hello, Khadija. Can you hear me?
Hi, Peggy. I can hear you.
Right. Where are you at the moment, and what can you report from there?
Peggy, it's a very sad day for the constituents in Ayawaso East constituency as they lost their Member of Parliament, Mahama Ture. Yesterday, he was laid to rest this morning as per the Islamic customs. Now, the constituent described Honorable Mahama as a down-to-earth person who, regardless of his stature, is able to interact with his constituents. In fact, grassroots have described him as the grassroots general who has, over the years, empowered the youth in his constituency. Peggy.
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, so we would like to engage some of the constituents here on what really they can say with regards to some members with their Member of Parliament.
Okay.
My baby, I'll find a man, yes, in the man. Yeah, I want some higher fire. I see you be idea. And if you see the sample, bonnet, money, and a flat. As a tack with the best, you know that the man.
I have here with me, and this gentleman is saying that Honorable Mahama has been instrumental in empowering the youth in this constituency. Brother, ABC News.
Okay, thank you.
What impact has the late Honorable Mahama done for you as far as you being a constituent is concerned?
Yeah, really, Honorable is very hardworking since. if they have held the seat for long, it means he's doing hard work. The youth are employed, some are get their handwork, and most of the work he has done in the constituency. So he has done a lot. Like we have, if anything they call upon him, he's ready to help. And he has, this, our health matters, our water matters, and he has done a lot. So he's a hard-working MP. So, yesterday when we heard the death, we were very, really down yesterday. Because what we didn't even hear that he is sick. Before we know that, yesterday we are hearing a bad news. So we are very, very down because he's a hard-working, he's a grassroots man who is always ready for the youth. So we are very, very shocked.
Do you think that the constituents here will get an MP as hardworking as him in the near future?
We are yet to see. This I cannot best tell, but we are yet to see those who come up. Because to get an MP like Mahama, it will be difficult. But let's see what God will do.
Hadia, let me come to you for a minute. Moya mami, honorable Lawaka baby. Now straight negotiate for in these difficult times.
Oh, we don't because Papa, your friend and I do a year and a power back the tea, notness. But I know I'm fun who said the free. Your friend or back the tea as it's in Yamian, I didn't boost for them a crab and mamma say, for mamma or mama, and that baby, the papa and the iron on the Yamin some better. And Papa no I am my in any conform. Only the baby on what done or does with him. It's in Yamima, Omuso, Akuma, and Ziboko.
My brother, what will you say to the family of the late Honorable Mahama?
Khadija. Can you hear me, Khadija?
That's what I will say. So our brother, may his soul rest in perfect peace. May Allah give his soul.
Hello?
Right, Peggy.
Right.
As you rightly heard from the constituents, it is really a sad day for them as their late member of parliament is laid to rest today. Peggy, you heard it for yourself. The people have spoke highly of him. They will miss him wherever he is, and they wish that his family members are consoled by the words of the Holy Quran. That they wish the family well, and they send their warmest condolences in these difficult times.
All right, Khadija, where exactly are you? We understand the body was transported to be laid to rest in Medina. Is that where you are, or at Skanda, where the funeral rites continues?
Right, I'm here at around the Kanda National Mosque where the funeral rite was carried out, and as you heard earlier, those for the constituents around the Kanda National Mosque.
Okay.
And right in front of the Nadmore head office near the Kanda National Mosque.
All right, Khadija, thank you for your report.
Thank you too, Peggy.
That was Khadija Isifu, a reporter from ABC News Ghana Television. We'll take a short commercial break here. We'll be right back with more news. Stay tuned.
Magic pepper and onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yenyi na da da da. So pa mediane no abe.
Come on, Gino, do your magic.
And papa no kunu abefi.
Tasty magic.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
Playing for your country, any easy. Scoring, any easy. Winning, any easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. I easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back from the break. You're still watching ABC Midday News live on ABC News Ghana television. In the world of business, the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana has rejected claims by management of the Tema Port that challenges at the bulk and bagged cargo section have been resolved, warning that conditions at the port have significantly worsened. In a statement issued on January 5, 2026, the association said its members continue to experience severe operational disruptions, contrary to public assurances that the situation at the port has stabilized. According to the association, labor productivity has collapsed dramatically, with vessels now discharging an average of about 200 metric tons per day, compared to a minimum of 2,000 metric tons per day in previous years. The statement states that this represents nearly a 90% drop in productivity, with serious consequences for importers, manufacturers, and ultimately consumers. FABAC said the introduction of a 24-hour economy shift system has failed to yield improvement, attributing the persistent inefficiencies to inadequate staffing, low worker morale, and unresolved labor concerns. Let's engage the president of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, John Awuni, on this. Good afternoon and welcome to ABC Midday News.
Hello, good afternoon and Happy New Year to you all and your viewers and listeners.
Right. Now, management of the Tema Port says the challenges at the bulk and bag cargo section have been resolved, yet you have strongly disagreed. What is the real situation on ground?
Well, thank you very much, and that's a great question. I would say that if the management of the Tema Port say that situation has been resolved, let them send media people to conduct them around. There are 3 vessels that have been there for the past week or 2 now that are facing, and the owners of the goods in those vessels are facing serious damages. The situation at the port has been described by insiders as the worst in over 33 years. This goods discharge per day now is a maximum of about 200 metric tons compared to the previous discharge of about 2,000 metric tons a day. The productivity has fallen down by 90%, and indeed morale of the workers are very low as I speak now, to the extent that now the management of the Tema Port and that particular bulk and cargo section have asked owners of the goods in the ships to get their own laborers to come and discharge the goods. As we speak this morning, they are even trying to move some of the ships back to anchorage to hide what is going on. And so they cannot use public relations to wipe away the problem. The problem is there, and it's clear. Let them send media people. We have MV, JVs, and there are 3 ships there that are clearly need attention. And these ships have been struggling for the past 2 days, or 2 weeks now. So the problem is not solved. It persists. It has even deteriorated to the extent that owners of the goods are now having to send their own workers to the port to discharge the goods, even though they have already paid the money to the owners of the port. They should call. You people should call Mr. Zuma, who is in charge of that section. Let him tell us that he has resolved the problem. You see, you don't have to take businesses for granted, because whatever the Tema port is a very sensitive port, it's a very sensitive area, and it's a strategic asset of the country. So you don't have to, in the name of protecting your job, lie to the public and then at the end of the day, harm businesses. Because whatever demurrages that we are gathering, between $10,000 to $30,000 per day in terms of demurrages, are going to be passed on to the consumer. Supply chains have been disrupted. The goods, which are sometimes can also be damaged, sugar, rice can also be can be destroyed by rain, considering that we have intermittent rain these seasons. So for the port to say that they have resolved that problem is very, very unacceptable. It is very unacceptable. And the people who have issued that statement should bow their heads in shame, because this is something that is verifiable. I am a very responsible citizen and will not come out to speak on the matter that clearly I don't know about and I don't have hands on. And that cannot be verified. This is not theory. This is practical. Let His Excellency the President send national security. Indeed, there are national security people at the port. Let them go there, go to the bulk and bulk cargo section and see what is happening there. Whether that situation is not west, whether that situation deserves to be at a strategic national asset, the main port of the country. So let the people at the port, the management, sit up. Let them do the work. Let them resolve the work. They attempted to introduce the 24-hour economy by bringing in new laborers. The old laborers have gotten angry and they have left the job. And they are stranded. They are locked up. So let them see whatever. Let them admit to the problem and then we have a challenge.
All right. Now, the port, right, introduced a 24-hour shift system to improve operations, but you say it has not worked. What would you say has accounted for its quote-unquote failure?
Because before the attempt of the management to introduce a 24-hour economy there, they had laborers they have been working with for years who have enough experience. Now the laborers are saying that they should work, they alone should work the 24-hour economy, the 24-hour thing. That means that they will work morning, afternoon, evening, and night. The management said that is not possible. They will have to apparently bring in new workforce. Then the people, the old staff are saying that if you are bringing new workforce, then increase our stipends. Management have disagreed. And so the old ones have abandoned their job. And so the new ones that have come in, they don't have the experience and they are not even many. So they are not able to discharge the work, do the work that it has been. That's why productivity has dropped by 90%. This is what I know. It could be beyond that, but this is what I know so far. So that they are unable to discharge the 2,000 or 3,000 metric tons that they used to do. And this problem has overlived its usefulness. It has been there since October last year.
Now, you mentioned that the cost will be bought by consumers, largely by consumers. How adversely will consumers bear this cost if this persists?
No, well, as we go, because if you depend on how much money, if you end up paying $100,000 by way of demurrages, it will be transferred to the price of the product. So if it is in the warehouse today and you come and pick it up, I will put the price on it and then the consumer will pay. So this is not good for the country. This is not good for inflation. This is not good for economy. It doesn't even augur well. It doesn't tell well of a strategic important port like that. The problem can exist like for 1 week. We all do encounter problem one way or the other. So 1 week, 2 weeks, but you must also even be very cordial and nice to the owners of the goods, not to bullshit them and then say that it doesn't exist. Once some of them have even written legal letters to the port, threatening to sue the port. Let the Director General of the port get proper briefing from the Mr. Zuma and his people. Let them go to the ground and see whether what is being explained in public relations, in media relations, is the same thing that's released on the ground. They are two different things altogether.
All right. Briefly, now, what steps are you taking to address this issue? Or
the steps is one of the things that we have, because after we have decided, we have tried to work mutually with them, and they are bullshitting us. That's why we are in the public. We are calling His Excellency the President and calling the Minister of the Minister of Transport, for that matter, to get involved in this matter and let the truth be told. Let that matter be resolved, because it doesn't give a good testimony about the port. It doesn't give a good testimony. These are owners of bulk goods who literally control the bulk of the food supplies in this country. So if they continue that way, food supply chains could be disrupted. Prices will begin to go up, and no one will know that the cause of that problem is coming from the port because of somebody's inefficiency and somebody's protection of his ego.
Right. Thank you for your time this afternoon, sir.
Welcome. Thank you.
That was the president of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, John Awuni. In more business news, the Bank of Ghana has introduced the new regulatory framework for the registration and operations of international money transfer operators, a move aimed at strengthening oversight of inward remittances, safeguarding foreign exchange inflows, and enhancing consumer protection. The guidelines for the registration and operations of international money transfer operators in Ghana come at a time when remittances remain a critical pillar of Ghana's economy, supporting household livelihoods, deepening financial inclusion, and providing a steady source of external financing. As Ghana's remittance ecosystem rapidly shifts from traditional banking channels to mobile money platforms and digital financial services, the central bank says a stronger regulatory framework has become necessary to preserve public trust and financial system stability. That's all for business news. Up next is Sports with James Ohenbamakion.
Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
Rent back with the beer open. Come on, let me see you. Wait, this guy. My friend, see before.
It's the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Win cash daily, weekly, and a grand prize of 1.2 million Ghana cedis. Just reload or buy a bundle with Telecel Cash to earn points and stand a chance to win big. Dial *500# or visit the Telecel Play app to opt in and start winning in the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
When is happening? If you're a baby, many schedule no. If you know, meto chiaka. Inti ene, uno ba no mpe baby amobeda. Oh, no abeka. You did too much money. No matter.
Telecel, connecting energies.
It's time for sports on the midday news with me, James Ohenbamakion. Let's start from Old Trafford, and Manchester United have confirmed the departure of head coach Ruben Amorim bringing his 14-month tenure at Old Trafford to an end. The Portuguese manager's final appearance on the touchline came in Sunday's 1-1 draw away at Leeds United. His exit follows weeks of reported internal strain, with sources pointing to increasing friction between Amorim and key figures within the club's leadership, including Director of Football Jason Wilcox. United's decision was finalized after a meeting on Monday morning involving Amorim, Wilcox and Chief Executive Omar Berrada, during which the coach was officially informed that his services were no longer required. Former midfielder Darren Fletcher has been appointed to oversee the team on an interim basis. His first task will be preparing United for their upcoming Premier League fixture away to Burnley on Wednesday night. Manchester United are expected to begin the search for a permanent replacement immediately as they look to stabilize their campaign and push for a strong finish to the season. Now from England, let's move to the AFCON, and Nigeria will continue their push for a 4th African Cup of Nations title when they face Mozambique tonight in the round of 16 of the 2025 tournament in Morocco. While this is a familiar territory for the Super Eagles, having made it this far more than a dozen times, for Mozambique, it is a new ground. The only previous AFCON clash between Nigeria and Mozambique came in January 2010 in Angola, when Nigeria won 3-0 with Peter Odowingi scoring twice and Obafemi Martins adding a third. Head coach for Nigeria, Eric Shell, says he is under pressure.
The job, I'm in under pressure, so this is not the question about the GNFF, this is the question about the official and the group and me. Game after game, we want to become ambitious. We think about just the next game. We want to win the next game. And if God give us the chance to go to the quarterfinal, we will think about the quarterfinal. But now we think about this game against Mozambique, and we want to win this game. So, to answer to your question, yeah, we are under pressure. No, I don't talk about what happened before. Like I said, every time we are focused on what happened day after day. We are focused on our training session.
Now from the AFCON, let's come on, and Ghana Football Association has taken decisive action by indefinitely banning Division 1 league sides Park Academy and Port City Football Club from using their approved home venues following reports of crowd violence over the weekend. The ruling, announced by the GFA Executive Council, comes in response to disturbances recorded during 2 separate league fixtures. Park Academy's clash with FC Ashgold 04 and Port City's FC encounter against True Democracy. As a result, the GFA's competition department has been directed to assign alternative venues for the upcoming home matches of both clubs. In doing so, officials will also consider travel implications for visiting teams to ensure fairness in scheduling. The association confirmed it is collaborating with the Ghana Police Service and other relevant stakeholders as part of the inquiry, and express confidence that the investigations will provide a clear and accurate account of events. That will be all for sports with me, James Ohinba. Up next is international news.
You're still watching ABC Midday News live on ABC News Ghana television. Up next is international news. Now, on the international front, at least 50 people have been killed and several others abducted after armed men attacked the market in Nigeria's Niger State. Police and local sources have confirmed. The assailants stormed the Kuswan Daji market in Demo village on Saturday afternoon, setting stores ablaze, looting food supplies and firing indiscriminately at civilians. Police said the attackers, commonly referred to as bandits, arrived on motorcycles and opened fire without warning. Witnesses described the scenes of chaos and panic, noting that women and children were among the victims. Bodies were still being recovered hours after the assault. The attack is believed to be part of a broader wave of raids that began on Friday in nearby communities, including Agwara and Bogu. Residents report that there has been little to no visible security presence since the violence started, despite claims that the gunmen had been lurking in the area for about a week prior to the attack. Several people were wounded and taken to nearby hospitals, while a mass burial was held for the victims. Efforts are reportedly underway to rescue those abducted, though the military has yet to issue a formal response. President Bola Tinubu said he has ordered security operations to be reinforced around vulnerable communities. The attack occurred near Papiri, where more than 300 school children and teachers were kidnapped from a Catholic school in November and held for nearly a month. Still on the international front, Pope Leo has voiced serious concern over the recent U.S. operation in Venezuela, urging that the welfare of the Venezuelan people must come before all other interests. Addressing the faithful during his customary Sunday blessings at the Vatican, the pontiff called for an immediate halt to violence and underscored the need to respect Venezuela's sovereignty. He said the current development should pave the way for justice and peace rather than deepen instability. Expressing his personal concern, the Pope said he was closely monitoring events in Venezuela and stressed that the interests of the Venezuelan people should guide efforts to end violence, uphold constitutional order, guarantee national sovereignty, and protect human rights and civil rights. The Pope's comments come as international debate intensifies following the U.S. military action and the arrest of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. His appeal centered on safeguarding civilians and ensuring that legal and constitutional norms are respected during this period of uncertainty. That's all for international news. Up next is entertainment news.
Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
entertainment, Ghanaian singer Amare has revealed her interest in collaborating with legendary gospel artist Esther Smith, Daughters of Glorious Jesus, and acclaimed producer Apietus. The revelation came during a Q&A session with fans on X, where she was asked about potential local collaborations. Amare responded, "I really want to work with Daughters of Glorious Jesus or Esther Smith and Apietus." Amare is also preparing for her first full-scale show in Ghana since 2018. Dubbed Blackout Homecoming, the concert is set to take place at Underbridge Annex in East Legon, Accra, promising an electrifying night for her fans in her home country. That's all for entertainment news, and that's how we wrap up ABC Midday here on ABC News Ghana Television. We stream live on Facebook at ABC News GH _ for more news. Log on to our website at www.abcnewsgh.com. I am Peggy Nyarkowaaa Bannoor. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I wish you a happy new year.